Good day, my dear students. This is now period 3 in Matem 2 for our basic science SEP with the code of SC22101. Again, I'm your teacher Heidi. Last time, we have studied all about the respiratory system. So from there, let's have a recall. So in our respiratory system, we have studied the basic structures and their functions. The zones of respiratory system. Breathing, gas exchange between blood and alveoli, and how to protect the respiratory system. We are going to study the second system, which is the circulatory system. What do you know about the circulatory system? Do you have any idea? That's what we're going to find out. Objectives. By the end of the lesson, you will be able to define and describe the functions of the circulatory system. Differentiate the types of blood vessels and components of blood. Identify the parts of a heart and recognize the importance of circulatory system in the body. The blood circulatory system is also the same as circulatory system. It has the following functions. 1. Gases and substances in the body are transported by the circulatory system. 2. Nutrients from food digested by the digestive system, oxygen from the respiratory system, and waste products such as carbon dioxide are all carried by the blood to the different parts of the body. And 3. Useful products are absorbed to be used in life processes and waste products are removed out of the body. These happen because of the blood circulatory system. So you can see here an organ, which is a very important organ in our body. Do you know the name of this organ? Very good. It's the heart. Now let's study some facts about the human heart. It is made up of involuntary muscles called the cardiac muscle. It is enclosed in a double-walled sac called the pericardium. And the fluid in a small amount in between the two walls lubricates the surfaces when the heart moves. How many chambers are there in a human heart? Very good. There are 4 chambers. Right atrium, right ventricle, left atrium, and the left ventricle. So how many? There are 4. Don't forget. So aside from the 4 chambers, we also have other special parts of the heart. We have here in the screen the aortic valve, tricuspid valve, mitral valve, pulmonary valve, and the aorta. So we're going to study today all about the human heart. And how does the blood flow through the heart? So this is also a picture of a human heart showing the different parts. The human heart is composed of several arteries and veins. Arteries are blood vessels that carry blood away from the heart, and veins are blood vessels that carry blood back to the heart. So let's see the names of the structures. So we have here the superior vena cava. Here on top, we also have the pulmonary veins. They are here. We also have inferior vena cava. So superior means on the upper, up. Inferior means the lower. We also have aorta, which is an artery, the left pulmonary artery. So these are the arteries and veins in the heart, which we're going to find later on their functions. Now let's move to the right atrium. The right atrium receives oxygen-poor blood from the superior vena cava and pumps it to the right ventricle. So the right atrium is here. It receives oxygen-poor blood from the superior vena cava and pumps it to the right ventricle. So the blood flows from the right atrium to here, the right ventricle. What about the right ventricle? What does it do? The right ventricle receives the oxygen-poor blood from the right atrium and pumps it to the pulmonary artery. So from the right ventricle, it is pumped to the pulmonary artery. The pulmonary artery receives the oxygen-poor blood from the right ventricle and moves it into the lungs to pick up oxygen. Remember, arteries carry blood away from the heart. So that's the pulmonary artery. Next, what about the left atrium? The left atrium is larger than the right atrium. It receives oxygen-rich blood from the pulmonary veins and pumps it to the left ventricle. So the left atrium carries blood that is rich in oxygen. What about the left ventricle? The left ventricle is larger than the right ventricle. It receives oxygen-rich blood from the left atrium and pumps it into the aorta. And it has the thickest wall. An aorta is the largest artery in the human body. It receives oxygen-rich blood from the left ventricle of the heart and moves it to all parts of the body. What about the veins? Let's have the pulmonary veins. The pulmonary veins carry oxygen-rich blood from the lungs to the left atrium of the heart. Remember, they are the only veins that carry oxygen-rich blood. And they are there, pulmonary veins. Now, a while back, I've told you about inferior vena cava and superior vena cava. Now, when we say inferior vena cava, it is the large vein that carries oxygen-poor blood from the lower half of the body into the heart. Okay, so that's it. And when we say superior vena cava, it is large but short vein that carries oxygen-poor blood from the upper half of the body to the heart's right atrium. So there you have it, my dear students, the blood flow of the heart. So you can see here a summary of how the blood, which is rich in carbon dioxide, which will go to our lungs and which will go back to our heart that already carries with it oxygen and moves out from the heart to the body. Okay, and there are also what we call cardiac valves. These are cardiac valves. We have the tricuspid valve, the pulmonary valve, mitral valve, and aortic valve. They are connective tissues made of collagen fibers. These flat leaflets can resist great pressure when the heart pumps blood. They also prevent the backward flow of blood. Now, I'd like you to scan this QR code and observe a human heart. You can see there the different parts of the heart. So let's summarize. The blood flow is a continuous activity that happens in our body. Without the blood, the nutrients and other materials will not circulate in our body. So, let us summarize what happens during blood flow in the heart. So first, superior and inferior vena cava, they carry oxygen-poor blood. It will go to right atrium, tricuspid valve opens, then the right ventricle, pulmonary valve opens, then the pulmonary artery, and it will go to the lungs to absorb oxygen, and it will be carried back again by the pulmonary vein, which will go to the left atrium, the mitral or bicuspid valve opens, and then the left ventricle and the aortic valve opens, and then to the aorta. The aorta carries the oxygen-rich blood away from the heart and to the rest of the body. And from there, it will flow again and again and again. So you can also see here the steps of blood flow in the heart. Do you have any questions, my dear students? So you're going to have an activity about the blood circulatory system, especially the heart. Please open the attached file. Thank you, my dear students, for your utmost participation. Good luck, have fun, and enjoy learning science. See you in the next period.